Coffee Conversations with Greg J is on. Good morning, y'all. Wow. I know it's a lot going on in our world. Heavy news here this week. Last couple of weeks. You know, our condolences go out to all of the people who have lost loved ones over this time. More on that later. Right now, been blessed in my time in this world to really be an observer and custodian in some cases, in the mix up to my follicles in Black cultural institutions, particularly where it comes down to, our legacy of music. We're coming into, we used to call it Black Music Month, but now it's African American Music Heritage Month. President Obama gave it a fancier name. But, when you begin to talk about this, when I worked at KJLH Radio, we used to sit up in the conference room and talk about all the different clubs, used to be across the city, Eve After Dark. You should always go back to Club Alabama, just talk about, the history in the Southland of Black entertainment institutions, Black radio, K-Day, KGFJ, K-Ace. What y'all know about KAGB? To talk about these things and, the record store experience, Dolphins, man, VIP Records had 1,000 record stores all across the Southland, and you went there. And back in my day, as I say to my young ones, you heard the song on the radio, and then you went down to the record store and they had the chart, piece of paper, and then if you heard a song on the radio, you'd go down to the record store and sing it to the owner. The owner would say, "Oh yeah, I got that record right here." That's how we did our thing in my day. Alonzo Williams, he's here sipping coffee with me. You remember that stuff there, Brother Alonzo?
Man, I remember it very well, Doc. I remember it very well. That was, I'll never forget when I first heard, Keith Sweat's "I Want Her." I heard it on the radio, and I loved the record immediately. And I was coming home from McCullough, and I just started going to record stores. I went down to my boy Artist's store trying to find it, and it hadn't hit the stores yet. It just was on the radio. And I was so frustrated I couldn't find it. But again, I'm trying to sing, I want her. And I totally can relate to that, just on that one experience.
That's what's up. You listen to that radio and shoot. Who's your favorite DJ? I mean, there's so many, right?
Man, come on, dude.
Come on, like all the way back, it's just like so many. But, we're blessed today, Brother Alonzo. We got the world famous Mac Attack. Greg Mack is here. Good morning.
Good morning. How's it going, my friend?
Man, doing okay. I mean, we're talking about, Black cultural icons, and you certainly are, your name is written in the book, 1580 K-Day,
All thanks to Alonzo. Not without Alonzo, baby.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Hey, what do you think about it? You play a record on the radio station, and then that sends people to the record store to check it out. Do you remember those days?
Oh yes, definitely. Mm-hmm. And back then we would actually catch guys selling this stuff out of the trunk. Toddy T, when he came out with Batarram, I couldn't find that record anywhere in the stores. The kids told me what corner he was selling it at. So it was. There was many different ways back then.
Yeah. Before we get into our next guest, what's the VIP Records in Los Angeles, in the Southland, in the area? Greg, what did they mean to us as American cultural history?
The record stores?
Yes.
Let me just say Kelvin, because Kelvin was a prime example. You have to understand that when Lonzo and I started doing our thing, the major record stores would not carry hip hop or rap. So people like Kelvin Anderson, the Rhodium Swap Meet, the mom and pop stores came up because that's all the kids wanted. And the only place you could get it was at the mom and pop store. So it was very, very important to keep things alive. I'm sure Alonzo could speak more on that, being in the record side, that if you didn't have somewhere for people to buy it, it was a little hard.
Yeah. What do you think there, Alonzo? We're going to bring Mr. Kelvin Anderson in here when we make our connect. But yeah, go ahead, speak on it.
My first introduction to the record business was through making underground mixes, bootlegs, scratch parties, Z-Rocks, and things like that. They were mixes that we did. People call them mixtapes eventually, but we had mixed 12 inches that we would create for the club and sell them. And but of course, we knew they could not go into a warehouse. That was not going to happen. And because I had a record background, selling records over the phone. I knew Cletus and I knew Kelvin, and man, it would those were some great days. I mean, because they would not only get it to their stores, but because back then there was two different levels of selling records. You had your chain stores, then you had your mom and pop stores, and most of them, a lot of them knew each other. So even if you had a record that was hot in LA, you could get it to Texas. You might get it as far as Tennessee because there was a chain of record stores, independent record store owners that kind of communicated with each other. And some records would cross over to different states and different areas. And I remember Cletus would buy, thousands of my underground mixes and resell them to different parts of the different parts of the country. So it just made for a great time for us as independents, man. And like I said, the Anderson brothers played a major role in facilitating that situation.
Well, look, Kelvin Anderson's here, got his cup of coffee, getting with us. Good morning, Kelvin.
Good morning. How's everybody doing this morning?
Oh, we're doing good, Doc.
Can you hear me?
Doing good. Look, yes, we can hear you just fine. Thank you. I know that Kelvin is out there, making things happen there. And thank you for taking the time to beam in with us while you're out there on your business trip. Oh,
great. Look, happy to be here.
We're here today, brothers, because, Kelvin's saying 50 years, boy, 50 years of being in business there. Kelvin, congratulations.
Well, thank you. Yeah, May 24th was officially my 50th year in the record business. Graduated from high school May 22nd. May 23rd, I said goodbye to all of my family and friends right there in Brandon, Mississippi. The morning of the 24th at 6 a.m., I boarded a Delta flight that landed in LA around 10:30 LA time. My brother Cletus picked me up, took me to breakfast, took me by his house to drop off my luggage. And by 1 p.m., I was officially working in the record shop. So in a 6-hour time period, my life changed from a boy living on a dirt road in the country to out here in the wild, wild west.
Brothers, I wanted to take this opportunity, to celebrate 50 years of being in business. And I just want to approach this from a really kind of eclectic Black arts culture perspective. And I say this because, as I have been in Long Beach, I've been a part of the Arts Council for Long Beach and putting me in what they call the fine arts, every aspect of it. And I began to collectively think about all my years working at a radio station, and the seat that I'm sitting in, I'm seeing the whole of the community, every aspect of our community, and becoming very, very, blessed to understand the importance of our cultural legacy. A lot of times things go away. If you look at, they have the Central Avenue Jazz Festival, but that region has, significantly changed historically, right, in our city, but it's important history. 1580 K-Day, important history. 102.3 KJLH, important history. VIP Records, Eve After Dark. Lonzo, you got so many look, if legacies were letters after your name like PhD, we'd be out here the whole hour, essential to our cultural history. Say it again.
No, that was my phone. I turned it off. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah. But I when we talk about the record store experience is gone, right? It's just gone. What do we as OGs in the game need to do to share our history with the coming generation or with the generation of now?
I think what we're doing right now, technology has made it possible to disseminate that information a lot easier now. Just a matter of them wanting to receive it. YouTube, Spotify, various other channels give us a chance to tell our stories. Used to be a time you couldn't tell your story. You couldn't tell it. Somebody else had to write a book about you to tell your story after you died, and usually they will get it wrong. But nowadays, with technology being what it is, we're able to sit here on these various platforms and get together while we're still all here breathing and healthy and very cognizant with all our faculties and tell our stories and compare notes, and people can say, oh, okay, this is why this happened. And I find this to be a problem overall because so many young, especially on West Coast hip hop, West Coast music, I'm gonna start right there. People don't know who came from where. For some reason, the history of West Coast music has been like some kind of secret. People don't even know that War came out of Compton High School. I'm like, you didn't know that? Oh no, man, I never heard that before. Come on, man. How you gonna be in the game? You don't know that War came out of Compton High School. It's just it's amazing, man.
It really is. Man, it really, really is. I mean, Greg Mack, when you see and listen, what is your word to the younger people? Our industry is crazy change. It's like that thing is a whole nother animal now. But what do you tell the young people about your legacy and help them up their game?
I don't know if you can see me or not. All I see is a blank screen, but
I can see. We can see you fine. Yeah. Beautiful background too. I'm looking at it. Nice.
I just tell the young people that, and I'm sure Alonzo will co-sign this, and there's a lot of his stories out there. And I can't wait to be able to give my 2 cents on the history and try and correct a lot of the misinformation that is out there. You have to understand that the core, you actually have the core of Los Angeles. I would say we're missing Roger Clayton of Uncle Jam's Army, but other than that, you have the core of what was going on the West Coast. And so I'm anxious to get the story out there. It will be coming. I'm not as advanced as Alonzo and have my book out already, but I will have it out. And I'm excited to share that with you because, I think that people, like Alonzo said, they just don't know that there was a whole bunch of folks on the West Coast doing big things and their origins and all of that stuff. So I'm excited to be able to focus on that in the near future.
Kelvin Anderson, how do you feel about it? How do you share your story? How are you sharing your story with the now generation and the coming generations?
Well, I kind of dropped off a second, but I might have missed the initial question. But
we're just talking about,
I'm still talking to a lot of.
Yeah, we were just trying to, identify the bridge between, what we were what used to be and what is now. How do you tell your story to the generations of now and the ones coming up?
Well, I still have, people come through with their projects, ask me if I would take a listen to it and kind of give them some advice on some of the steps that they, that some of the things that they need to do in order to, move their career forward. One of the things is, the marketing and promotion side of it, avenues should they take? Should they make a physical product? Should they make flyers and all that kind of stuff? I tell them that, of course, you don't want to press up a lot of physical product to put in stores, but it's definitely something that you need as a part of your package, because if you're out around town doing shows, promoting yourself on social media, it's important to have the full package, because if you're out performing, doing autograph signing or something, if they like you well enough to buy your cap and T-shirt, they would definitely buy your CD. Also, so it is very important that you come with the full package. I also tell them that it's never been a better time in the history to be an artist, because of so much that you can do just from your own bedroom. As far as social media is concerned, you can go viral in a matter of a day if you get the right people to share your platform and what you're trying to do. So it's a big difference. It's a super highway. It's a major highway out there as far as different ways to reach the consumer these days. So it's never been a better time to be an artist.
I want to just ask y'all, what's your favorite moment in your legacy? I know we got a lot of stories, but tell me like one. I'm going to start with you, Greg. Like, give me one iconic moment where you're on the air and you're, heavily influencing, particularly the rap hip hop space, right? From 1580 KD. What's that iconic moment for you?
It was, oh my God, there were so many moments. I think when I first arrived to Los Angeles, and about a week after that, I went to the grand opening of Ray Parker Jr.'s recording studio called American. And when I was talking to Ray, I just happened to look. I'm like, oh my God, Barry White's standing there. And so I got to talk to Barry White. And so Barry started laughing at me because I still had my Texas accent. And, I was like, hey, y'all, it's nice to meet y'all, And he said, man, you're like a breath of fresh air. And we became friends from there. And he taught me a lot about what not to do in the city, what colors not to wear, and what neighborhoods, and blah, blah, blah. And you have to understand that he was like a father figure, but, I would call him from time to time to get his advice on things. So for me, that was a very special moment. And he was a very special person, and I miss him a lot.
Yeah. I remember we did the, I met Barry White many, many times, but after he passed, we named the South Park the Barry White Park. That was a really great festival to be a part of. It was really, really cool. Alonzo, what about you, man? I know you got so many. Just give me one.
You know what? I think the pinnacle for me was at the Super Bowl this year. That of all the things I've done, that probably was the one that really touched me the most. When I'm at the Super Bowl.
Wait a minute, I was gonna say you was there?
I was at the Super Bowl.
What?
Yeah, I got up in there. And I'm sitting there, and I lost my friends. We're separated. And I went to a private room where they were having a showing on the screen. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh my God, after all these years. And a tear started running down my face. And people said, man, you all right? I was eating some potato chips too. Yeah, I got some salt in my eye, man, I'm all right. And I'm like, this son of a bitch. Okay. After all these years, it blew me away. I don't think my feet touched the ground the rest of the day. It was just
Eminem coming up out of the Compton courthouse.
I'm like, oh my God,
right?
Eve after dark, and after that, the next week was just for me was phenomenal because all the news media was chasing me down, and then just so happened I agreed to do a DJ Valentine's party for the mayor of Compton the next day, Emma Sharif, and it was that Super Bowl situation became the whole conversation of the Valentine's event, and it just made for a great time for me, and just touched me to no end.
Do you let's examine that for a minute, because what I noticed about that, people were talking, and if you are from Southern California, that halftime performance hit different, you know, than it was. I mean, I could see the pride of people, you know. Greg Mack, would you agree?
Yeah, I was sitting there like, Eve After Dark, yay, go Alonzo. You know, I was everything that Dre's accomplished. I'm so proud of him. I tell people all the time that it's because of the success of people on the West Coast that people even remember who we are. So I always look at it as just being a conduit from, you know, them starting and where they are now. And so I don't know about you, Lonzo, but I feel like a proud dad sometimes just watching it.
By all means, Doc, that's exactly how I feel.
Now, I'd like to ask all three of you, you know, back in the day when hip hop, it's hot, right? It's just coming out. Would you have imagined it to be what it is today?
Yeah, I would. Okay. You have to understand that it's a reflection of what's going on in the streets. And you're not going to hear some of these things on the news. And so to the people, you know, and the new rap that's out there now, I sit and I listen to it because I'm like, okay, it's an education. It really is. And so I can tell you this, I knew it would be big, but I don't think I quite thought that it would be this big. And so to be a multi-billion-dollar industry now is quite an accomplishment. So like I said, it's just fun watching it all. I remember when we, you know, we're just doing our thing at 1580 K-Day and one of the guys might get a TV show or get a TV commercial. That was a big deal. Yeah. We'd all gather around to watch, you know. And so to see where it's come and where it apparently is going, you know, I'm very excited to see it. So, you know, I'm enjoying it all.
That's right. That's right. You know, Kelvin, what about you? Did you think, you know, back in the day when your experiences with rap and hip hop back in the day and you look at it now, did you ever imagine it would be this big?
Yeah. From day one, I knew that rap music would it wasn't going anywhere when, you know, we was going to meetings, conventions, and you know, you had like a lot of the label people saying it's just a fad, it's here today, but it'll be gone tomorrow, because of what early rap was based on. Early rap was based on music that we already loved. You know, you could hum to a James Brown beat, a Zapp and Roger beat, you know, a Rick James beat, and go gold. So, you know, the basic element of a successful rap song was the beat that get you nodding your head, and the hook, because when people came in the record store looking for it, that's the only thing that they can remember was, you know, that it had a nice beat and they could tell us what the hook was, but you know, they didn't know in the verses. But yeah, just based on the fact that it was, you know, the main elements of early rap music was R&B songs, mostly funk R&B songs that we already love. So I knew at that time that, you know, it wasn't going anywhere. You know, I was able to, in the early days, get a lot of the guys mixtapes, and, you know, they was rapping over popular tracks. And, you know, we had the best test market in the world, our consumers. You know, and we just played it in store. You know, I had a couple of Too Short cassettes, mixtapes that he did before getting the deal at Jive, that, you know, actually went gold in my store. You know, I had a system of street marketing for my store. I would get something like a Too Short mixtape. I would give it to the guy that sits up at the park all day playing, you know, jamming his boom box. And I'll also give it to the lowriders in the neighborhood with those sound systems that rattle your windows. And they'll go around town bumping and stuff. And everybody, you know, would want to know where they got it from. And so everything led back to the store. So, you know, I had a unique street team, that worked well for me in Long Beach and a lot of the other independent record stores. So we was definitely key to the success of a lot of these guys, getting out there and getting their music in the hands of the consumers and stuff. Your Toddy T's and a whole lot of people, and we did well, and especially we did well across the country, but as far as Long Beach, LA, Compton, the Bay Area was huge for us for a number of years and stuff. So just our ability to play and promote and push stuff in store was very significant for VIP.
Yeah, that's a great illustration of how we as a community have to really do, direct to consumer, marketing, and that's social influencing in those days is basically what you're doing right there. And, are there records that you remember that were super, super hot that never made it to the radio though?
Were there records that I what?
That were really hot that did not make it to the radio?
Oh man!
The underground. What is a good song? Are there songs that are so hot in the street that don't make it to the airwaves?
Wow, a lot. It's a lot because radio didn't play independent, independent artists. So there are, it's funny. When I'm driving, when I'm going on road trip, I mostly listen to just independent stuff. Friend of mine that most of you guys already know and stuff. Heck, he was on the street. He sold stuff on the streets in Compton as far as his music and stuff. Daddy V, his and Daddy V and DMG in Full Motion is an underground project that I've sold, a lot of back in the day, but it's something, he had the smooth rapping and also R&B vocal type style. But man, yeah, it's a lot of underground projects, that went well for us, and a lot of other independent stores, because that's what we would do. We would get something in our community that was, that we sell good, that was selling good for us, and we would tell other record stores and stuff. So, I remember back in the day when Easy used to come to VIP every Friday evening in his lowrider with a trunk full of 12 inches. So, I'll buy a few boxes. And so it got to a point where I told him, I said, look, man, you don't have to be doing this and stuff. I said, you ever heard of a place called a One Stop? And he didn't know a whole lot about it. I said, but hey, you can make one stop and sell all of your stuff. You don't have to go to all of these different stores. And, that's how he was able to get the Boy in the Hood 12-inch into, I think it was called City One Stop at that particular time. But, it was, and the unfortunate thing, especially in the hip hop arena for artists back in the day, we definitely should have more hundreds, if not thousands, more major artists. But the fact that they had no freedom of movement, meaning that, if you the dopest rapper in Long Beach, you can't even go to Compton and do a show. You can't even go to Inglewood, which stagnated your growth. And then, most of the radio stations say that, because of our advertisers and stuff, it just, we're not allowed to play independent projects. And I think that most radio stations should have 1 or 2 hours a day programming dedicated to new music, guys that just getting started. They did it in a lot of other cities. But, we fortunately, a lot of these artists, if it hadn't been for independent record stores pushing their stuff, they wouldn't have had the early success that they did back in the day. Of course, it's a different story now and stuff with the internet and social media. But yeah, we helped a lot of people, especially the overseas market. There was record stores in Japan that I dealt with that, like me in America, they didn't even want a major labor project and stuff. They wanted to know what we were selling underground, LA, Compton, Inglewood. And so I had guys that, did well abroad that, never saw the light of day over here. So,
isn't that something in our travels?
So it definitely paid a major role.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that something? Because in our travels, as we go over to the continent of Africa, we see the music industry is mirroring that, in that there's a lot of American artists that you don't hear of here, or who are minor stars, if you will, here in America, that are really, really huge over there. And then what you're describing in terms of the street marketing, the grassroots marketing, is exactly what's happening in some of the countries that we have. Is that thriving music industry, but the economy is right there, buying out of the trunk of the car or at the swap meet or whatever. It's not even mainstream, and it's a strong creative economy built on our streets, and it's pretty interesting to hear you talk about it. What about we went to the Long Beach Symphony. Kelvin had a tribute to Aretha Franklin the other night, and the KHLH Gospel Choir was there and everything. And I was just reflecting, Aretha Franklin's Amazing Grace is it still the number one, gospel record? And can you kind of talk about your role as a gospel music outlet?
I actually couldn't hear you clearly. I didn't get the question.
Okay, well, I'm just asking. Okay, how about you, Greg? Is Aretha Franklin and gospel music? I know that I just want to kind of change lanes just a little bit, and I'm gonna try to strengthen my connection with Kelvin, because I'm just kind of curious. Aretha Franklin's Amazing Grace. You remember that when that came out? Talk about gospel music on Black radio.
Whoa. You give me the hard question. Now, I can tell you this. I was well aware of it because my mama would play it every Saturday morning while we cleaning the house.
Yes, ma'am. So, sir.
I was very well aware of every song that Aretha and Al Green and Bobby Blue Bland and all of these people. We used to have to buy multiple copies because my mom would play them, till the grooves go off. Yeah, you put the needle on it and it just slide across the record. But I mean, Aretha's about as good as it gets, Mm-hmm. I just don't know. I don't know, how you even put a lot of people in that category of Aretha. So, and I remember, speaking for Kelvin, that, he had a very good gospel section at his store. He did.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It's just really, I was just reflective and to be in that space of mostly Caucasian folks, mostly old Caucasian folks, but all of those people were getting up, dancing to the music of Aretha Franklin. It was like, wow, it's just really caused me to reflect deeply on the music. Because like you say, that was the music we had in the household. We were cleaning up the house on Saturday, got to play that, I was just talking to a brother in Long Beach, a bass player. We had a blues band at one of our arts on one of our art walks, and I was just kind of talking to the brother during their break because our DJ had put Bobby Blue Bland on the speakers, and we were just sitting there analyzing his voice, and how like, dang, okay, that's the blues, you know what I mean, and just what we experience when we hear that in our soul. That was in everybody's record collection at the house. Is that right, Alonzo?
Pretty much, definitely. My mom was a big gospel lover, and like Greg said, I even got whoopings to get the gospel sometimes. You just take the wheel. I got whoopings to gospel, okay? I told you. Wow. Yeah, so I have a unique relationship with gospel music. My mother also liked jazz, so and back then, man, it was amazing because whatever your parent had on the radio, in the car, or in the house, because there was no multiple personal entertainment devices back then. So whatever your parents listened to, that's what you learned to love. My old man was from Mississippi, so he loved the country. He loved Ray Charles. He loved all that country stuff, Charlie Pride, all that stuff. I'm listening to all that stuff as a kid. And to go home, my mom, she's in the jazz because she's from Louisiana. So it gave me a well-rounded musical taste. But gospel was something that everybody agreed upon on Sunday after church, because we went to Catholic school, which that music ain't gospel. That's something totally different. But we still had that gospel bass at the house. It just made for a unique situation, Doc.
Yeah. That's very, very, very interesting. Isn't it interesting how our music from the center of our culture influences the world? Like it goes out, like I said, that was a room full of white folks that was grooving to Aretha.
Greg, I had this conversation yesterday. This is my second podcast this week. I did one last night with some youngsters, and I was explaining to them that we have a tendency, we as a people are very creative people. We invented blues, we invented soul, R&B, rock and roll, jazz, and we sometimes we'll just abandon it. Not really totally abandon it, but for the most part, the next generation will not respect it, and somebody else pick it up and love it. And then in some cases, they'll appropriate it. Okay, then we get mad. Well, you left it on the curb for the trash man to get. Somebody else picked it up and turned it into a diamond. Now you're mad. It's the same thing happened to it's the same thing happened to our communities. Our communities. Oh, I'm moving to Lancaster. I'm moving to Reno Valley. And you come back 10 years later, the block that you grew up on looks like Beverly Hills. Now you're mad because you feel like somebody did something. No, you walked away and left it. And somebody else loved it, and they took it and polished it up and made it and refurbished it. And now you want it back. You shouldn't have left it in the first place. And I was talking to some pop lockers. I did a pop locking contest out in Lake Elsinore, and it was not one young black kid in the contest. Everybody else was other, and they was getting down. But when you create something, you would like to see people that look like you continue the culture. Okay, I don't want to sound racist by no means, but just just something that if we create something, we create a soul food. I like to see black people look like me cooking soul food. When you go to a lot of soul food restaurants, we ain't the cooks. So and then you get mad when somebody else opens a soul food restaurant that don't look like you.
You bring up pop locking. That's another contemplation I've been having lately. I saw a story, it's Asian American Pacific Islander Month, right? Yeah. And so I saw this story about this group called Kinji, and they're Asians, right? But their whole dance and the foundation they got merch and everything. Their business is all off of pop locking. That's how they started, right? Man. The guy dropped out of medical school to be a
and do it well,
right? They do it well,
dude. They're not playing with it,
right? But you know what? The contemplation I have is this, guys. It's like when we look at other cultures that dress like us, that do the dance, the cultural expressions, it's because when their generations before them came into the country, they put them in our community first,
right?
It's just like in Long Beach, we have a heavy Cambodian community, the largest Cambodian community outside of Cambodia. But when you look at them, they're young people, especially. I mean, they dance, they dress, that comes from the Black culture. And I say, wow, when they first came, they landed with us. Look at our Latino brothers and sisters, right? They was with us. We from California. They was with us, right? In the hood. But they like hip hop. Their haircuts are very similar. They dress, the language, everything is, it's almost like they assimilate, but then they take our culture and it goes across the world.
Right.
Yeah.
It's always been like that, Doc. It's amazing how to see how, first of all, we have to understand we control cool. Whatever we say is cool, the world says it's cool. Whatever we say is cool. Whether it be a dance step or even our vocabulary. You know, we got white people calling each other niggas, and this is that right there is something I'll never understand. But if you listen to conversations, man, you know, so we determine what is cool amongst the world, and I don't think we realize our economic and our cultural power, how much influence we have on the world.
You know, Kelvin, you're back in there. We're talking about the global influence of Black culture. I know when I wear my my VIP Records hoodie that you gave me, I get stopped by every color type of person everywhere. You know, talk about the global influence of your brand.
Well, yeah, that is so true. It's amazing how we still get people come from all around the world that want to come to the place where Snoop Dogg got his start. I've heard so many interesting stories of people wearing VIP brand, you know, across the country and abroad. Last year he had bought said he was in Africa for a week. And he said, I can't tell you what I wore Monday, but he said, I wore my VIP shirt. And he stopped and questioned. And people showed him so much love, and they bought him drinks, bought him food. He said the next day he wore something that nobody saw. So he said every day.
Yeah, well, you know, Kelvin's up there in Las Vegas. There, we're taking care of some things. You know, I wanted to see if we could get him, you know, to talk about the global influence of his brand, but you know, having a little bit of tough internet connection up there in Vegas. You know, talk about cultural placekeeping. We've been working with him to you know, help him with the vision of a VIP experience. You know, it's all that history that happens, you know, in the VIP space, you know, is global, and we feel like there's needs to be a permanent home for that expression. And so, Kelvin, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, good. Yeah, we're having a tough time on our technology.
That's that hotel Wi-Fi.
That's a hotel Wi-Fi.
That's that hotel Wi-Fi, Kelvin.
That's real talk, man.
Yeah, evidently, man. I really apologize for that. I'm like, this laptop was giving me so much trouble. I said, well, let me try my phone and see if I have any better results and stuff. But you know, you guys have touched on quite a few interesting topics today that, you know, I would love to chime in on, especially the Aretha Franklin situation. She is hands down my favorite artist of all time. You know, the Amazing Grace album in 1972 kept me grounded for years, coming out here from a small country town, a small country church and stuff. That Amazing Grace album really affected me. And you know, just her R&B, her blues, her jazz project. So hands down, you know, Aretha was definitely my favorite artist of all time. I had some great experience with Barry White. I heard you speak of him earlier and stuff. Barry used to invite the VIP family up to his house, and we would have a barbecue. No labor representation or anything. It's just Barry, Claudine, and the VIP family. That was super special. My biggest moment in life was, I think, probably, and I have a lot of them, but going to Paisley Park. Prince invited like 12 retailers to Paisley Park. They showed us around the compound. They fed us dinner, and they did a full dress concert for 12 people and stuff. Unbelievable, you know. And I was a huge Prince fan from the start. I remember when they had his debut, his introduction to the industry. It was at a sound stage up off of Santa Monica Boulevard. That was my first time ever going there, and I've never been there again. But it was something that I almost missed because I was invited up there at 5 in the evening, leaving Long Beach to get there at 5 in the evening was nothing nice. But I'm so happy that I went because he came in and he played like Hendrix. He danced like James Brown. And he just put on, he had the full package from the get-go.
Hey, Kelvin, my first experience with Prince was that he played Flippers in West LA. And I didn't know who this guy was, unknown. My partner bought the tickets, Andre bought the tickets. And we go up there, I see this dude come out there. And then we in West LA, Santa Monica, on Santa Monica Boulevard, in that part of town. And this dude walk out here with these little leggings on and these high heel boots and this doggone trench coat. I'm like, what in the hell is going on? And then while he's singing, he takes the guitar and he strokes the guitar and some fluid come out the guitar, just like a you know what. I'm like, oh, it got on me. I'm mad. I was mad. I didn't like Prince for a while, man. I'm like, dude, why you get on my clothes like that?
Right.
And but in fact, I wasn't that into it, and I got the Purple Rain album in a record pool, and I gave it away. And then I saw the movie and had to go back and buy it. Yep, real talk.
Yeah, I got some Prince stories too. I went to Paisley Park, and then I've been to quite a few private Prince shows. I remember being able to organize a live broadcast of one of his shows out of the Forum when he did that residency there. Okay. That at his personal request. It was the only one that could do it, in the whole city, and that was really, really cool. I remember going to, I can't remember where that was, somewhere in Hollywood, and I remember it was a private show, and everybody was saying, "Don't look in his eyes." Just really, really something. What about you? And then also after he passed away, was one of the producers to bring the tribute on the steps of City Hall, and that will always be one of the pinnacles of my career to have been able to organize that production on the steps of City Hall in Los Angeles. 15,000 people out there. It was crazy. What about you, Greg Mack? Prince, I know you got a few of them.
Prince and I had an interesting relationship, but the first time I interviewed Prince, I was working at Magic 102 in Houston, and went backstage to interview him before he went on. And it was interesting because he would not answer a question directly. I would ask him a question, he'd whisper the answer in his manager's ear, and his manager would tell me the answer. And I said, well, why is he doing it that way? He said, that way he can tell you what he wants to say. And if you go and say something that causes controversy, he can say he didn't say it to you. And I said, oh, okay. And so that's the way he rolled. But yeah, I've got multiple Prince stories. He used to come to my birthday parties. He sent Vanity over to the station in a camisole to say thank you.
Wow.
I could give you some stories, but this is a family show. But Prince was a genius.
Yeah.
Michael was a genius.
Yeah.
In our lifetime, I don't know. I haven't seen that genius since we lost them. I haven't seen that genius R&B star yet. And I'm not sure. How do we lose all of our superstars? How do we lose all of them?
Yeah. And then it's a different type of music in that space now,
if they were still here, I think we'd have a lot more balance in the music industry. And I think that's what we're missing right now. We're missing balance. Everything is all shoot, kill. And then that's what we hear. We know that's not the case as far as creatives, but what we hear, what's being played the most of, what gets the most attention is all the negativity. But when you have somebody like a Prince, Tina Marie, Rick James, Barry White, I could go on and on, that is still making music that has a fan base. That fan base ain't going nowhere. You ain't got to do a lot of marketing for the Isley Brothers. If they come out with something, we're going to get it. And,
Maze.
Hey, come on, man.
Maze is coming to town, sold out already. Them dudes are 90 years old, yo.
You know, with those kind of folks still in the mix, I think it would make a big impact and bring some balance back, especially for the adults. It would give the adults something to do other than trying to assimilate this teenage stuff. But I see some grown folks trying to understand this teen stuff. You know, damn well you don't understand that stuff. You're just trying to get along with these kids so these kids won't call you old. You know you don't like that stuff. You don't like it. You know you don't like it. And it upsets me to see some grown folks trying to understand some WAP. Come on, man, get out of here with that. You know you don't like that. You just saying it because all the kids are saying it. But anyway.
I tell my youngins, I'll listen to it and then I'll tell them, I said, that's some bull crap.
It was the same. It was the same thing. It was the same thing my mom used to tell me when I started listening to Confunction and Barcase. That ain't no music. That ain't no music. I mean, the generations, you like what you grew up with. You do, you know, and you just carry it on. I think that with today's hip hop music, like, I would just like to hear more people that can actually rap as opposed to the auto-tune thing. The auto-tune is kind of what, you know, I don't like, but I do like the talented, some of the stuff the kids are saying.
You know what I find wrong with a lot of today's music, Greg? It has no longevity.
Right.
Okay? One thing about Confunction and Parliament Funkadelic, that stuff is 45, 50 years old, and it still sounds good today. It still make you get up and dance. And as a DJ, here's the problem. Here's the problem I find with today's music. My first love of the music game before making records was playing records and having people party. Okay, for me, if I'm DJing a party and ain't nobody dancing, that's like being a chef, ain't nobody eating. Something's wrong. Is it either the chef or the ingredients? Okay, and I've come to believe, because if you think about this, youngsters don't dance anymore. They don't dance. They just sit around, look at their phones. They hold their drinks, take pictures of themselves, of their booties, whatever the case may be, and they don't really dance. So because and my belief is because the music that they listen to is not danceable music. It's listening music, but it's not danceable music. You know, as an artist or as a consumer of music, you have album cuts that you love. They're not dance cuts. You couldn't play them at a dance, but these are good album cuts that you put in your car, play them in your house. No problem whatsoever. But when it comes to going to a party, there's a difference between a party record and a radio record. All radio records aren't party records. And I think that's one of the issues we have now. We got a lot of people that, because this record is popular, they think it's automatically ready for the club, and it's not club material. And that's just Alonzo old school DJ theory.
But you know what? I feel like it's coming back, though. If you look at the success Silk Sonic is having, the new song from Lizzo, The Weeknd, there's some good stuff starting to pop up. And I will say this, that seems to me, I don't know about you guys, but seems to me the female rappers are starting to get their
coming up.
And I really enjoy some of the females out there. Megan Thee Stallion. I'm a huge Cardi B fan. You know, I really enjoy some of the females that are doing their thing right now. It's fun to watch.
It is fun to watch because, you know, I managed the Poetess when she came out, and it was a hard road to go with a female rapper, man, in those days. You know? We brought in Rhonda Love, super producer Rhonda Love. She's up there in Las Vegas, and you know, she has a Dream Creator Studio, and one of the community development projects is the preservation of the VIP Records sign in Long Beach. We're working with the city to make it a historical landmark in the city of Long Beach, and then take the VIP legacy to levels where we can ultimately build a cultural space, the VIP experience, preserve the history. We started out talking, guys, about, you know, the legacy of Black cultural iconic, you know, spaces. And this is a project that Rhonda is leading and working shoulder to shoulder with Kelvin. And there she is. She's out there making deals happen right now. How you doing there, Rhonda Love?
Hi, Greg. Hi, everybody. Hi, Alonzo.
Hey, what's up, Rhonda?
Hi, Greg Mack.
Hi, Rhonda.
How you guys doing?
We're great this morning, baby. Great.
Good. I knew this podcast was going. We've been in meetings all morning, making a lot of great things happen for VIP, and I wanted to step out just to say hi and get on here and congratulate Kelvin, who is here with us on his 50 years of service to the community, 50 years of preserving our culture, and I'm here doing what I can to help take what he has done, this body of work, to the next level, and the response has been really well received here. There's brands here. Behind me, you see is Bravado, which is a division of Epic Rights. You probably see Tupac behind me. And so we've been having conversations here with folks like Bravado and Epic Rights over behind me here and everything. And it's just been really great seeing people embrace this work that folks like Kelvin has done, and then Alonzo has done, and Greg Mack has done, and Greg J has done. And so I'm just excited to be able to take it to the next leg. And I wanted to come on here and join you guys and say hello. Much love for all the work that we've all done, and big kudos and celebrations as we celebrate Kelvin Anderson today on his body of work.
Rhonda, speak to why this is so important to your heart, the preservation of a Black cultural institution like VIP Records. Why is that important?
It's important because it ties into the roots of who we are and who we've been called to be here on the earth. Our creativity, our expression, there's a lot of history in our creativity. There is a lot of messages and a lot of wisdom. There's a lot of proverbs in what we do and how we express it. And so it's very important that that be preserved and sustained, just until the end of time. So I'm here doing this work to do my part to make sure that happens.
All right, that's what's up, Rhonda. We had an extended conversation about Aretha Franklin here. We were sharing that we went to the Long Beach Symphony for the Aretha tribute. Talk about it. You were there.
Oh, it was great. It was great. It was a beautiful tribute to her. I was happy to be there in the space. It was so nice to see her music in an orchestra symphony setting. So it was really great to see not just her music being preserved, but it's been translated in different genres of the music so that it just crosses multi-dimensionals in that space. So it was great.
Yeah, Kelvin said that's his favorite artist of all time.
Oh my goodness! Yeah. Our reception's a little wonky here, so I don't know if he's been able to stay on with you guys, but
no,
we did our best. We tried to set him. He's at the hotel, so we tried to set him up technically as best as we could there, but the reception here is a little crazy.
Yeah. We see, and that's okay. We're just glad to get a report from you today, from what you're doing up there in Las Vegas, and celebrate with us. We've been talking about a wide range of subjects here, but we just wanted to, join in with you to talk about legacy building. That's what you're doing, institution building.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been great. The vibe here, the theme this year at this trade expo that we're at is all about hip hop, celebrating hip hop. And so this is just a great time to take this body of work that Kelvin has done to the next level. It has been, I can't even put words to how well it's been received. I was supposed to be on here with you at 9, and the reason why I wasn't is because I was in the middle of a meeting with, he is the Chief Revenue Officer who is responsible for building DreamWorks. He has legacy work that he's done at MGM. And so I didn't want to interrupt that meeting because he was really blown away by the work that Mr. Anderson has done over the years. And so the opportunities are endless of where we're going to go next with this brand, with VIP.
Rhonda, you and I were having a discussion before you left. We were doing some deep research into hip hop and everything. And, we got two of the masterminds of most biggest influencers in hip hop on the line with us. Let's ask them. Alonzo and Greg, is hip hop 50 years old?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah. Really quick, I grabbed Tanisha. We're here in a meeting. Tanisha? Kelvin's daughter. If there's Alonzo and
let me just hi. Let me just.
How are you guys?
Good.
It's beautiful to see you guys. I hope all is going well. I thank everybody for continuing to support the mission of VIP, and the fact is we are ready to continue on for years to come. Yeah.
All right.
Okay,
So
awesome.
we were in the middle of the question. Okay, so Greg Mack is 50 years of hip hop.
It's the live podcast, yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, next year will be the year. I think it's 49 right now. Next year will be 50, and I don't think it'll ever end. Hip hop.
I tell you what, Greg. AARP is on hip hop's head right now to get a card, doggone it. That's the dog on the show. AARP is on hip hop's head, okay? Anybody that was in hip hop as a teenager, darn sure got an AAP card. Yes, so come on, man.
Yeah. There was a discussion we were trying to see, is it, because I can't remember how we got on it. Somebody said, well, rap is 50,
right?
But hip hop isn't.
You know what, Greg? As I think back, you may have a point there. You may have a point there, because my daughter was born in 75, and she's not 50 years old. She's 46 or 47.
Okay.
So, and she definitely was not a hip hop baby. She was born, I was in high school. Hip hop was not around in 75 in LA. Right. Hip hop elements were around. It wasn't named hip hop yet. The Watch Poets had done their thing by then, and some other things that happened by then. And locking was around, but that was not technically hip hop. That was a element that was later mentioned by Kool Herc. That's something he would watch Soul Train and get some of his influence from Soul Train, but graffiti wasn't around that I know of. Rapping was around. You're right. Rap was around. Rap been around since the 60s. Since late 60s with Escorts and Watch Prophets.
I would think, though, I think rap goes back even because I'm a student of Black music from the 20s, 30s, and 40s. And I hear the artists and the stars of the day rhyming.
Okay, you're right. Totally
and
right.
There's one segment in Black music history they call it signifying.
Okay.
And that's what they, like in the bebop, coming out of big band in the 40s and going into the early 50s, they do, there's some artists that talk, in their tracks with the rhyme, with the clever rhyme. And I believe that is what we see as rap today. I actually will take it a step further. There's probably a whole nother show. When I speak, when I examine African music, I see Africanisms in the way that they speak to music over the drums, so there's all kinds of things that I see in the continent in their music that I can directly, my ear, attribute to rap music.
Okay.
I personally think that it's all the same. I noticed that when rap started to get a bad rap, as you guys know, the headwinds that we faced when we were exposing this music, somebody creatively said, well, we'll call it hip hop. And so people, accepted that. But if you said you were, a rapper, it wasn't accepted as if you did hip hop music. So it was a marketing thing. The same way Black radio, and Greg, you know what I'm talking about, Black radio had to switch to calling themselves urban, because the advertisers didn't want to buy Black radio stations. So Frankie Crocker said, let's switch it to call it urban contemporary. And so a lot of the names, a lot of the styles, the styles are going to change. That's just the way music is. But a lot of the names have changed to adapt to advertisers and other, things that need to be mitigated. So that's just my thoughts on that.
That's right. Let's try to bring Kelvin back in for one. Let me see if I can grab you real quick. I don't think so. Let's see. Hold on.
I was sitting here with my calculator on my phone. And I thought about Greg Mack, Kelvin's age, Greg Johnson's age, and mine. We got about 255 years experience on this phone right now. They got about 255 years of experience on this call, okay?
Yeah. Well, you know, that's right. Like fine wine.
But you know what, though, Doc? And this is something I try to preach to my youngsters, man. Look, dude, me and Greg, I've been knowing Greg, 35 years? Greg Mack? Greg J.
83.
I've been knowing you about 35 years from K-Day. Yeah. And all of us are grown men, and we never had any problems per se. But if we did have a problem, we'd have a system to talk about it, and we'd be able to get over it and move on. Whereas today's youngsters, everything is a death sentence. Okay, the slightest misunderstanding turns into a death sentence. And for me, that bothers me, because I tell them, I said, man, you'll never understand the beauty and the beauty of getting old. You know, some of my buddies complain about getting old. Getting old ain't as bad as you make it out to be, especially if you didn't abuse yourself when you was young. Okay, right. You know, I'm looking at Greg J. I know you cut them all off. Ain't no gray hair in no place. They all cut off. All mine is painted. Okay, but it's still a beautiful thing to look up and be in our 60s, because everybody is in 60 something, and be able to still communicate and still smile and think about the old days and laugh about them, and still be able to disseminate information that, you know, that youngsters need to have, man, because we are the pinnacle of this hip hop thing. There's nobody before us on this West Coast. The four people you're looking at right now, except for Andre and Roger Clayton, Unknown DJ and Roger Clayton, are the people that set this thing off back in the day. Whatever day it started, we were the first ones there. And to still be here and to be able to communicate and laugh and talk and joke and still on our grind, I think that's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah, it really is a beautiful thing. And I talk about it all the time. I say, you know, I was in the industry. I had a front row seat. I had floor seats to the birth of hip hop. You know, I saw it. I was there, you know, and it's just really a blessing to have an understanding like that. Kelvin, we got, let's see, man, we have a problem with him. Okay, Kelvin, as we were trying to bring you in, we were talking about the age of hip hop. And we said rap first. Rap is 50, but hip hop isn't. What's your thoughts?
I think he froze.
Yeah, man. Well, we gave it a shot.
There you go. Can you hear me?
Well, we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. You know, I heard a lot of the things that you guys were saying. So, you know, the saying is that rap is what they do, and hip hop is the culture and stuff. So hip hop is the lifestyle, but rap is what they do. As far as the rappers, that's the definition from the East Coast about, you know, the difference between rap and hip hop. But as far as I'm concerned and stuff, you know, rap music, the rap as we know it started in like 77, 70.
It's a hotel. And they charge you for that. That's the bad part about it. They charge you for this. Okay?
That's all right.
They're going to charge you for that. Oh, yeah, you have internet access and access to our pool. That little pond you got in the back of the pool, that ain't no pool. Okay.
Man.
Jim, you got one treadmill and some barbells. You want $45 for that for your so-called resort fee. Get out of here with that stuff. Anyway, man, don't get me started.
That's really something. Me started. Oh, we giving it a shot there, brother Kelvin. Look, we're gonna get out of here, you guys, and I want to just thank you all so much. I want to end this by asking, I mean, y'all do still listen to hip hop and rap, right? I'm gonna tell you.
Very much so.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you each, what are you all listening to right now? I'm gonna tell you, I'm listening to Wu-Tang Clan because I saw the documentary and I've been on them like ever since. What about you, Lonzo?
Man, Tupac is my ringtone. One of his songs is my ringtone.
Holla if you hear me.
What can I tell you?
Yeah.
In fact, I just went to. I was in Arizona last week, and I'm making another jacket. I used to collect patches when I travel, and I started collecting hip hop patches. And I'm having a jacket made right now with all the patches I collected over the last few months, and I was able to pick up a bunch of them in Arizona. So yeah, I'm an old hip hop head, and I can't help it. I still love R&B, I still love funk, but that's because I was raised on everything. You know, so you can't just discharge one thing because you like something else. Just because I'm into hip hop don't mean I'm anti R&B or anti anything else. I'm an old man that like hip hop. What can I tell you?
Me too.
I'm get my wheelchair. I'm gonna put a sound system on my wheelchair. Keep it up. Watch.
Right.
I'm gonna be bumping.
Yes. I was doing some work around the house. I had Wu-Tang Clan on my phone. I was carrying the phone in my pocket, and the youngster here, and it was like, "Man, OG, that's that real hip hop." I'm like, you know,
yeah, we gotta show them, man, because they don't know.
Yeah,
if we don't show them, they'll never know.
That's right. Greg Mack, what you listening to right now?
I like everything. You know, I don't box myself in. You might find me listening to some weird stuff if you roll up and hear me bumping in the car. I'm just a fan of music, you know, and I think that if you are going to have the longevity that we have been blessed to have, you have to, you know, have an open mind to things and continue to understand and stuff. So I like everything. I mean, you know, I'm on at the local radio station in Los Angeles, 94.7 The Wave. I'm actually on the air right now, but it's pre-recorded. But we play a variety of things. You know, we don't just play one. We don't play any rap, but it's okay because I do have a syndicated show, and I wanted to mention that, the Greg Mack Show, and we play all the old school, and so you know, I like everything. I cannot think of something that I don't like, but I will tell you this: when I'm because I work from home mostly, when I am at home, I really don't like listening to music. Because after being in this business, God, I started way back when. You burn yourself out.
Greg, you know, I thought I was the only one that had that problem.
Me too. But you know, sometimes I gotta have music all the time. However, I know about those moments of silence. Gotta have them.
Oh, it ain't silence. I'm a TV watcher, you know. But you can literally burn yourself out listening to music. You know. For 50
I do
years,
audio
5 hours a day. Yeah. I can't even listen. I just, you know, sometimes I think it's because I want to be entertained.
Understood. Right. Yeah. So, what's your favorite radio station outside of all of your properties and the Wave? My
favorite station?
Yeah.
I don't have one. I'll be honest with you. I like where I'm at because I like the vibe there at 94.7 The Wave. And then I program a station in Bakersfield called Precious 95.7. I'm part owner of that station. And I listen to them. You know, you got to listen to, focus on the things that are making you money, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't have.
I listen to a lot of African radio. I love Kaya FM 95.9 out of Johannesburg, South Africa. That station is the bomb. And they play everything, hip hop to, you know, house music. Like when we have our mix shows, right? You have our mix shows always, but their mix shows are house music, you know, and it's just like a lot of that really great stuff. Kelvin, what you listening to now?
You know, when I'm not at work and playing music is my job, but when I'm not at work, I'm normally listening to talk radio, keep up with today's topics and, you know, get a lot of insights on what's going on in the world. It's something, all of my kids that grew up, their friends always thought that my kids had all of the music. I never took music home. The music was always stayed at the shop. So my kids definitely didn't have all of the latest and greatest. They had, you know, what they would ask for, but no, I never took music home. And in my vehicle, unless I'm on the highway, but just going to work, coming home, I'm listening to mostly talk radio. You know, to kind of keep up. But you know, some of my all-time favorite artists, of course, Snoop Dogg. but I'm a huge Too Short fan. I'm a huge DJ Quick fan. And it's
I
something
love
that
DJ Quick.
VIP kind of had a little something to do with their beginnings also and stuff. DJ Quick decided what he wanted to do in life at VIP in the back. Too Short is someone that I told Barry Wise. Barry Wise called me and told me that he was in the Bay Area. They were checking out some kid they called Too Short. Can you tell me something about it? And
They're gone again.
Gone again. That's all right.
Half your money back.
Yes. We get a refund, right?
Half of your money back.
That's what's up. All right, Greg Mack, how do we reach you, man? We want to find out. Give us the website where we can listen to your syndicated show and all things Greg Mack. How do we find you?
We're on about 30 stations in about 3 different countries. Just Google Greg Mack and one of those stations will pop up. You can hear it every weekend.
Okay.
If you like to party, that's the show.
Yeah.
And I'm still around. I'm doing my thing. I think that's the beauty of what the business has brought into my life is the fact that the longevity. I never thought I would be in the business still. I tell people all the time, I don't feel like I've ever worked my whole life. I work all day, 16, 18-hour days still, but it don't feel like work,
Hey, Greg,
how can anybody have this much fun and be working,
Yes,
Greg,
yes.
They say if you do what you love for a living, you'll never work hard a day in your life.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I say. I love this stuff, and I'm really thankful for my time in in radio. Starting out, I was Radio Scope. Greg, that's Friday when we met back in the day. Boy, it was on. I worked at Lee Bailey Broadcasting. That job there took me all over the country. I'm really thankful. Started my own business and went back to get a job at KJLH. And then just have legacy there and been very, very blessed, man. And now, running my own business, digital media, taking this body of work and pushing forward into the next generation of broadcasting business. And like you say, Lonzo, man, I'm doing what I love,
You can find me at my on my YouTube channel, NWA Stories with Lonzo, LonzoWilliams.com. And also my email is reallonzonwa@gmail. I'm easy to find.
All right. LonzoWilliams.com. I'm going to put that one in the chat right now. And we'll leave it at that. Man, thank you, brothers, for coming in and just chopping it up with me, man. You see what it is. Coffee Conversations with Greg J. Casual, but compelling conversations from a global, culturally relevant perspective. And that's what we do. Let me see if we can get Kelvin in here one last time to say goodbye.
Hey, man, sorry about all that. You guys talked about so many interesting things that I would love to chime in on, but I actually thought I had a good signal here today, and it didn't work out, but would love to be on again someday soon.
Yeah, we're going to make it happen. Come on now, let's get it. All right, you guys. Coffee Conversations with Greg J is available on our Facebook page at beachcityradio.com. We repurpose the audio wherever you get your favorite podcast, Google, Spreaker, Apple, just wherever. Just put it in there. Coffee Conversations with Greg J will be there. Thank you, brothers. Have a great day.
Much love, folks. Peace. All right, fellas.
Yeah. So, we just want to end this to what great conversation, right, with these brothers. I'm going to change lanes before I sign off here, man. My heart has been really, really heavy. A lot of mass shootings happening in this country. Buffalo, New York. Guy went into the neighborhood grocery market, shot and killed 10 people, expressly there to kill Black people. Next day, California, right down the road here, Laguna. Guy goes in to church service, kills people. And then down in Texas, I think the count now is 21 children killed as the guy went into the school and opened fire. What is going on? I don't know what's going on yet. A lot of people are trying to politicize the situation, and we're kind of running around like the Keystone's cops trying to find out what to do, what happened, how could this have been prevented. In the same time, I know that a lot of us are probably walking around heavy with the weight of this on our souls. If you have any amount of compassion in your heart, this is probably something that really, really hurts you, really, really affects you. And I just want to offer some encouragement to lean totally on your faith, to lean on the light that is in your heart to get you through this time. Because it's a lot. We are undergoing a lot. The prices are going so high. You know, everything is changed. COVID's still out there looming around. Homelessness, election time, crime. There's so much on our head. But I want to encourage each and every one of you to stay strong. If you can, stay strong. Take the time to find a little quiet space every now and again to get your balance, because we do live in a strenuous time. Black people, I want you to keep your eyes open. You know, we are in a time of cultural revolution, nation building. We have to be together now more than ever. And I just want to encourage you to build unity, preserve your family, keep your eyes to the sky. And above all, love one another, y'all. Peace and blessings.